Basics of cost accounting. Cost accounting is a branch of accounting that focuses on capturing, recording, and analyzing the costs incurred by an organization to produce various goods or deliver services. It provides crucial insights into cost control, profitability, and efficient use of resources. It's a branch of accounting which is more about cost of manufacturing any product or providing any services with an intention of generating the revenue. As we know, accounting is a wider and broader concept, and it got various branches depending on which area the focus is required mostly. And there are many branches which is specifically designed with the requirement. Which is whenever there is a requirement of specific um, kind of recording. Like as we know, accounting is a broader concept and it records all the financial transactions. And whenever there is a specific requirement, so it needs to be handled separately or individually based on the whatever the requirements we have. So one of such branches is cost accounting. So if you go, if we see the other branches is we have is financial accounting, which focuses on mainly financial preparation of financial statements like income statement, balance sheet, cash flow statements for external stakeholders. And other one which we can mention is management accounting, which provides internal reports to the management for various decision making. So it's a very in-depth and mainly used for decision making. Like it gives you like very insightful and meaningful information, specifically designed for top managers to take some decisions based on the information what we get. And uh, depending on what is the objective need to be achieved, the management accounting can be modified or changed as per the expectations or whatever the requirement depending on the situation. So other one which we can talk about is tax accounting. So as we know, every organization need to file taxes, tax returns and plan their tax strategies, and depending on the nature of the business and kind of organization. So the tax accounting need to be, tax records need to be maintained, and this need to be, this will helpful mainly to uh, file the annual tax returns of the organization and tax planning and many kind of such situations, whatever comes up, the taxation matters. Other branch we can mention is auditing, which specializes in examination of financial statements to ensure accuracy and compliance. We also have other accounting branches like fund accounting, which are not very much familiar, but yeah, they do exist. And yeah, so few of them will be like fund accounting, which is mutual fund, handling the fund. The organizations or which are handling the public fund, they need to maintain the accounting as per the requirements or which is beneficial for the investors. And other one which I can mention is government accounting, which is mainly used for government departments and public sectors and all those things. So the other one is forensic accounting. Forensic accounting is mainly to used by the insurance companies whenever there is a loss or loss reimbursement or any kind of loss assessment need to be done. Then in those cases, forensic accounting will be maintained by insurance companies. So among these all these branches, we can say financial accounting, cost accounting, and management accounting are the major ones. Yeah, depending on any other requirements. So any other form of accounting can be done. So yeah, so that's about branches of accounting. And when we see the accounting definition as such, so it can be seen as it's a process of recording, analyzing, and reporting on organizations' financial transactions. It is also referred to as the language of the business because it communicates the financial health and performance of an entity. So now let's talk about accounting. Like when we say accounting is a wider concept or broader concept, and there are many branches, and cost accounting is one of them. So let's try to understand what exactly is accounting. So accounting, as per the definition, it got mainly three main processes, which already mentioned. So, which is like first one is recording. So, recording is recording of any company's financial transactions such as payments, receipts, and debts. Any kind of financial transaction which is made by the company, we need to record it. This process is mainly for collection of data. Unless we have all the required data in one place and in the similar format or same format which we use, we can't use this for our next process. And same set of principles or rules need to be used for recording the transactions, whichever happens in an organization. So the next process is analyzing. So once we record the transactions, the next process is to analyze the recorded transactions. Analysis, as per its dictionary meaning, is the careful examination of the different parts or details of the data which has been collected. This process, this step process the data into meaningful information for the intended purpose. Like, in this case, it's the next process, which is the reporting. So, reporting after the data is converted into meaningful informations in analyzing process. So this information need to be reported in a prescribed format by various laws or or governing or regulating bodies through which the results of the analysis are communicated to stakeholders such as investors, creditors, and regulators. So other regulators. So by this, I hope we understood what is exactly the accounting and the basics, like, what are the branches and how significant is the costing for our discussion for today. So, accounting is also like cost accounting is a process of tracking, analyzing, reporting cost information to aid managerial decision making, where the main focus is on the cost information, which can be controlled and helpful in making various decisions by the management. So let's understand why we should analyze the cost information in this format, or in the way we can say, like, is what are the objectives of cost accounting? Like, why we should study the cost accounting, or what is the help, I mean, what is the benefit of studying this cost accounting and all. So the main objective of studying the cost accounting is to understand cost control. This will help us in identifying the areas of inefficiency and implementing measures to reduce costs. Cost control is not always reducing costs. It's like, properly managing the cost in order to get maximum utilization of the limited resources such as material and labor. So the next objective is cost determination, which assists. I mean, cost accounting will be like, it assists in determining the cost of the products, services, or operations. Take an instance where we need to determine the price of any product or services which we are intending to sell. Without having a proper information about the cost involved, or how much cost incurred, it would be very difficult to fix the price. Cost determination also required to understand how much profit or margin we should expect or we can expect from the selling of these products or services. So unless we know the cost of particular product or service, so it would be really difficult to fix the sales price and how much margin we need to generate out of it. So all these purposes can be achieved with determining the cost of the product. So the next objective is, you can say, profitability analysis. Here, cost accounting provides data to assess product or services profitability. As an organization, we will be having many product lines or service types which would be provided for revenue generation. By having the proper cost details, we would be able to conclude which product or services are providing the are yielding the better margins. We can perform a comparative analysis to understand which product or services we need to focus and invest more materials and time, because unless we know which product or service is yielding more profit to us, so we will not be in a position to invest or maximize the profit by investing in those line of products or services. So yeah, so for example, there are, I mean, if you take an example of a manufacturing company, there are some 10 product lines, and five of them are getting us the more margins, and five of them are not getting that much margin, or it's very less compared to the other five. So we should be focusing more on the more profit yielding, which will increase the overall profitability of an organization. So this way we can increase the profits or margin of an organization to a substantial scale, and also it would be helpful for determining the budgets, and how how uh, how much profits we can estimate, or how much uh, how to utilize the materials or resources or labor, like materials and labor efficiently for high yielding product lines. So the next objective is, you can say, is decision making. So cost accounting offers insights for pricing, budgeting, and resource allocation. With all these above mentioned objectives, it would be easier to make decisions by the management. So if you see, it's a flow of control. Like, I mean, there is a flow. Once you can control the cost, one is determine the cost. So, and also once you determine the cost, then you can analyze the profitability and you can make a right decision. So these are the objectives of studying cost accounting. So the next topic which we are going to study in basics of cost accounting is the elements of cost. So we have been talking a lot about them, like the term which is cost all this while. Let's understand what are those elements, like what does the cost means or comprises, like what are the elements of cost, which components are included in the cost. So the cost comprises mainly the three main elements. So first one is material cost. As we all know, materials are required. Like, there is always an input materials which will be processed in any organization and made as a finished goods and sold in the market. So it's like, we are getting the raw materials, making them marketable by doing certain process, and then selling it in market for and getting the uh, generating margin out of it. So material cost mean the cost of raw material used in the production. For any manufacturing process, important and main element is cost of procuring the raw material, which can be further processed into different finished goods, which are sold in the market. So there will be a raw material which will be processed in order to make it sellable by adding some value to it and make it useful for the targeted customers. For example, iron ore is procured from the mines and processed into useful metal sheets or bars, which are more useful for the um, users, like whoever wants to use these metal sheets or bars, so they can use them as the raw materials. In this situation, iron ore is the raw material and metal sheets or bars is the finished products. Further, these metal sheets are purchased by the various vehicle manufacturers, and they may use them for designing the panels required for their vehicles. For these vehicle manufacturers, sheet metal is the raw material and panels are the finished goods. So the meaning of raw material changes according to the various manufacturing companies or the process. So one raw material may be finished good for the other companies, so vice versa. So it all depends on what is the process or what is the manufacturing we are doing. So the main element of cost is the material cost, and it's a major contributor in the cost. So the next one is the labor cost. So we can say the next major component, which is the labor cost. It is like, convert labor cost is the, like, it requires certain manual efforts for converting the raw material to finished goods. It requires a lot of efforts and manual processing, which is termed as labor, and cost associated, such as paying the workers their wages, is termed as labor cost. The wages paid to workers directly involved in production is what is included in the element of cost. So the next element of cost, or the third one, is overhead cost. So apart from the costs which are directly involved in the manufacturing, like we have some indirect expenses such as utilities, rent, administrative costs are all being belong to the overhead costs. So these are the uh, this is the larger bucket, I can say, like which includes various supporting or support function costs and all. So these costs are associated with the activities for supporting divisions, or the for the manufacturing process, main manufacturing process. But they could not be identified directly to the manufacturing process. But without these overhead costs, manufacturing process will not be possible. So these cannot, even though they cannot be identified to the directly to the manufacturing process, but if the the supporting, so it won't be possible for manufacturing process to carry on. So so the next topic which we will be discussing about is the types of costs. So based on the nature of the costs in which they occur, we can see different types of costs. These types of costs are very important to understand, because based on the nature of cost, they should be used while preparing the cost sheet. So there are many types of costs. To mention a few regularly used and commonly known cost types are fixed costs. These costs will remain constant regardless of production levels. For example, um, rent and salaries to the office work, I mean office staff and all. The next is the variable cost. We have variable cost, like these costs would vary with the production volume. For example, raw materials. So whatever the manufacturing volume, so depending on that, these costs will vary. So increase or decrease depending on the procurement of the raw materials, etc. So next one is direct costs. We have few costs directly attributable to specific product or services. For example, wages of factory workers of certain product line. So they can be directly attributable. So these are called as direct costs. So we have indirect costs. So these costs are like, which are not directly tied to the specific product or service. For example, office expenses. This office will support for various product lines and services. So you can't identify directly, like, how much portion they are supporting for this and all. So this should be allocated, so to the various products produced in the or whatever the office is supporting the product lines. So only way we can do is allocation of these costs. So the next one is semi-variable costs, or we also call them as mixed costs. So these have a very element of fixed and variable cost built into this. These costs have nature of fixed as well as variable costs. Till certain points, they remain fixed, like monthly minimum charges for electricity bill, and after that, they vary depending on the usage. So we have different examples, but it's like, mix of both fixed and variable costs. So the next cost is marginal cost. These costs are incurred by producing one more unit of any product, and they're mainly used in decision making to determine the optimum production level. And next one is the opportunity cost. Opportunity cost refers to the value of the next best alternative for gun while making a choice. Here, we can have a simple example. Imagine you are deciding whether to pursue higher education or start working full time immediately. Choice is choice in this decision is like continuing higher education. So in this case, the opportunity cost is the income you could have earned by working full time instead of spending time and money on your higher education. In this case, the opportunity cost of attending college includes the salary you, number one is the salary you give up while studying, the time that you could have been spent gaining work experience, and also the immediate financial independence. So, however, by attending college, you might earn a higher salary in the future, potentially offsetting this cost. But it depends on situation. I mean, varying upon the situations, the opportunity cost will be calculated differently. The next type of cost is sunk cost. So these are the costs which have been incurred in the past and cannot be recovered, like research and development expenditure, which is spent before actual production that cannot be recouped. So the other one is controllable cost. Controllable costs are the costs that can be influenced or controlled by management. They will play a vital role in decision making, because if a cost is controllable, then only management can take some decision how to control the cost and how to make the profit, I mean, make the products more profitable. So the next is uncontrollable costs. So uncontrollable costs are those costs which cannot be easily influenced or controlled by the management. For example, fixed rent for a leased building. So they have minimum role in decision making. For the rents and all, you enter a contract for a year and you can't change them frequently and in between. So they don't play a vital role in decision making. So they don't I mean, you can't do much about them, so it's beyond your control. So those are uncontrollable costs. So the next one is product costs. Product costs are directly related to the production of goods, like direct material, direct labor, or any direct expenses. And the next one is period costs. Period costs are not directly tied to the production process, but they're expensed in the period incurred. For examples are sales and administrative expenses, where salaries are paid for the sales team, cannot be directly traced back to the production. They would be expensed in the same period, and they will not be carried over to the next period, even if the products are not sold during the period. So these are period costs. And the next one is incremental costs. So incremental costs are the additional costs that associated with a particular decision, like cost of extra cost of producing an additional batch of products, like that. So next one is differential cost. So this is the difference in total cost between two alternatives. This will give an idea of how much cost difference we can see by choosing any alternative. So these are the various types of costs. And so based on the going forward, if in any different techniques of the casting or whatever the concepts we learn, so depending or whenever there is a requirement, so as and when it is coming up in the topics, we can discuss further and drill into more about these costs. So for today's concept of basics of accounting, cost accounting, so this will give you a brief idea about, like, what are the types of costs we have. And the next one is, what are the cost accounting techniques? So we know, we have seen various kinds of basic concepts. And so with all these things, like, what are the techniques which we can use for our cost accounting technique? I mean, cost accounting. So there is one main thing is, like, one more point is, these techniques are used based on the requirement of specific industry and the purpose of costing. Like, um, as we know, like, when this is mainly purpose oriented. So whatever the purpose or which is more beneficial for decision making or taking any major calls. So based on that, we will be using different techniques, or sometimes we put together or combine few of the accounting cost accounting techniques and use them. So the first one is standard costing. This technique of costing uses predetermined costs like standards for production and compares them to actual cost to identify the variances. This technique of costing helps in comparing the actual cost with standard costs and to identify variances. This technique is used commonly in manufacturing for budgeting and variance analysis. The next technique is the marginal costing. Marginal costing focuses on the cost of producing one additional unit. This costing techniques mainly focuses on variable cost and their impact on decision making. It is used to arrive the break-even analysis and determining the profitability of additional units. The next one is activity-based costing. Or in short, we also call it as ABC costing. So ABC costing allocates overhead cost based on the activities that drive cost. So this will provide accurate cost data for complex environments with diverse products or services. It focuses mainly on identifying the cost drivers like machine hours, labor hours, etc. So yeah, so the next technique is the job costing. Job costing tracks costs associated with specific jobs or projects. This costing technique is used mainly in the industries like construction, custom manufacturing, and consulting, where costing unit is entire job which is being done. The process costing. Process costing is used for mass production process to determine the cost per unit. This technique is mainly used in industries like chemicals, food processing, and textiles, and focuses to track costs over continuous production. Each process is considered as costing unit, and cost of production is arrived accordingly. So let's see, understand cost accounting. What are the benefits of cost accounting? Cost accounting has many benefits, and to mention few benefits of cost accounting, uh, it offers a range of benefits that helps organization to achieve better financial management, operational efficiency, and decision making. We can list out many benefits like depending on various sectors of industries. So to mention few of the generic or the important ones are, first one is cost control. Cost accounting helps us in identifying the areas of inefficiencies, unnecessary expenses. It also helps us to set cost standards and monitor deviations. This will help an organization to control its costs. So it help by having the right information about costing details, the decision making would be proper, and management can make right decisions with full knowledge about the cost and its impact on the decision taken. This will assist in determining the profitability of the products or services. With the information about the profitability of the products or services, management can focus more on the high profitable products and increase the company's profits. Cost accounting aids in creating accurate budgets um, by analyzing historical cost data and supports future planning through cost forecasting. Uh, Cost accounting enables managers to assess the efficiency and effectiveness of departments or employees and benchmarks performance against the set cost standards. So cost accounting helps in tracking costs related to raw materials, work in progress, and finished goods, and it also ensures optimal stock levels and reducing the holding costs. Cost accounting identifies wastage of identified wastage in materials, labor, and overheads, promotes efficiency in resource allocation. It also assists in meeting legal and regulatory cost reporting requirements. provides transparency for internal and external reporting, and it also helps in for the insights about cost structure, enables competitive pricing, ensures prices over cover the costs and deliver desired profit margins, and it helps in understanding cost behavior and its impact on the operation, guides long-term strategic initiatives such as expansion or diversification. And yeah, cost accounting accurately assigns cost to the products, departments, or projects, and it prevents over or under allocation of shared resources. So we know there are a lot of benefits of cost accounting. So we also have some limitations. I mean, yeah, every concept have few limitations. So accordingly, so if we want to see list out or nitpick some of the limitations of cost accounting. So first one is the cost accounting is based on the estimate. So many aspects of cost accounting, such as overhead allocations and standard costing, rely on estimates. This can lead to inaccuracies in cost determination and decision making and complexity. So cost accounting involves detailed record keeping and calculations, so which can be time consuming and complicated. It may require skilled personnel and advanced systems, um, and obviously increase operational costs. So, and the next limitation which we can list is cost of implementation of the costing system. So establishing and maintaining the cost system can be expensive. Small business might find it difficult to justify the costs involved. So to mitigate all this limitation, business often use cost accounting in conjunction with other management and financial tools for a comprehensive. So with this, we will end this video for with discussing about basics of cost accounting. So let's meet in the next class. Until then, thank you.